Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real from touchdowns to liquid air on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout.
Of course I'm muted. Of course. Of course I'm muted. What's going on, man? Happy Monday to you. This time I was not dropping no jewels while I was muted. Um, you didn't miss nothing. So what's going on, everybody? Peace to you. Happy Monday to you. Hope you had a good first day of the week. The older you get, the slower you want these weeks to go. Because it seems like time's slipping away from you. But we're catching the end of Monday Night Football, 21-7. KC is up. Earl, 5 minutes gone in the fourth quarter. You got about 10 minutes left. And Kansas City is trying to run out the clock. Defenses, both defenses have played pretty well, but they've made some mistakes. Offenses have been Marcus Mariota he played good in the first half, and then they just shut him down in the second so far. So, but in any case, what is going on? Chris, right off the bat, this AJ trade talk is for the fools. I agree 100%. We are going to get into that shortly. Rock Mikey, good evening. Tiffany, as usual, I appreciate you. Yeah. Let me see. Even if we're better off without him, I would hate to have to face him. Listen, man. To me, this is a prime example, and this is the best example I've seen in a while. This is when the national media catch a story and they run with the story. And you either don't have the connections or you're not checking with anybody from Philadelphia. Because anybody from Philadelphia, I can't even say that because there's some people on WIP and the radio that they just, because AJ Brown put out some tweets, he's unhappy, we got to get rid of him, all that type of stuff. And I'm like, man, y'all must forget the dire straits we were in years ago. And like it's just easy to get another AJ Brown in here. Man, if y'all don't shut the hell up and suck it up. If let's just play this all the way out, right? If the behavior that AJ Brown is exhibiting right now, if that is what a diva mentality is, I'll take it all day. Y'all getting pissed off because y'all don't like his tweets? Get your ass off of Twitter or X or whatever. You ain't gotta engage. You know Herm Edwards' famous words, don't press send. You ain't got to engage. You ain't got to watch it. You ain't got to download it. You ain't got to look at the post. You ain't got to reply. You don't have to do none of that. The only thing you need to do is concentrate what he does on the field, period. I can give a damn about what he tweeting about. And I've said this before. AJ Brown is his own dude. AJ Brown is somebody that's been through, and he has expressed this openly. He's been through his own mental health issues. And people like that, deal with their issues in a specific and certain way for them. And that's not exclusive. Everybody deals with that. The only difference is he's in the limelight and everybody gets an opportunity to say, I don't like how he's dealing with that. I wish he wouldn't do that. That annoys me. Man, I don't give it. Shut y'all. Man, let me stop. Let me stop. I hate to say it, but this is some of the stuff where I say it's like the pussification of sports. Just because you can say something don't mean that you should. Just think if, and here's how I visualize it. Here's how I talk it out. When you're talking about stuff like you don't like Kevin Patullo, you don't like what you don't like how Nick Sirianni acts, you don't like AJ Brown because he tweets when he's frustrated or he's cryptic. So how would you deal with it? That's the question. How would you deal with it? When it's your turn to deal with it and something happens in your life, on your job, and what you're doing, and people see it, how would you like it if somebody came up to you and just I don't like the way you dealt with it. If it was me, I would have done this. And they're talking to you like you should take their advice. There's a reason why AJ Brown is AJ Brown. There's a reason why Devontae Smith is Devontae Smith. There's a reason why Jalen Hurts is Jalen Hurts. You, and I'm pointing to everybody out there in YouTube land, you could not deal with the things that Jalen Hurts has dealt with. You could not have dealt with the things that Devontae Smith has dealt with. You could not have dealt with the things that AJ Brown has dealt with. Conversely, they probably couldn't deal with some of the stuff you're dealing with because everybody gets their own thing. Everybody's good at their own thing. There's some things that you can do that can't nobody else really mess with you with. You've been through it. You got the experience. Now, there is a lot of people who are empathetic with AJ Brown. I can't be. I haven't been through what he's been through. I haven't contemplated suicide. So I'm not going to act like I have. And if sending out tweets and whatever he's doing that annoys people, if that's what he has to do so he can successfully get through his day, and he's still showing up on Sunday, what's the problem? Everybody gets on their high horse because everybody wants people to do it like they do it. And that's crazy. It ain't right. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So I get, to me, that is very, very annoying. Is this one of WIP's dumb takes? It's not a WIP take, but there are some people who want to sound the horn about trading AJ Brown. Some more than others. And I'm like, I ain't with that. All of the craziness that we've seen, especially in this city with T.O. and Iverson and what's the dude that couldn't play with the Sixers? That's up in Brooklyn now. I was so mad at him, I can't even remember his name right now. Somebody will put it in the chat. That dude. You know what I mean? Even Embiid to a certain degree. It's like people want to act like you can't be upset, but you got to do it a certain way. That's the problem with this stupid, with the social media thing. Social media doesn't really leave any room for conversation. I'm starting to figure out that I'm one of the few unicorns. left doing this business because it gets to a point where nobody wants to have discussions. It's either my way or the highway. You don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. There's layers to this. And to have these fools watch what we do every Sunday, watch AJ Brown go out there and do his thing, and then get mad because you don't like what he tweeted. Too friggin' bad. When you get your opportunity to go out there and do what you do, and people come at you, then you can get mad. Do it your way when you get your opportunity. But he got to do whatever he got to do. He got to make it work for him the best way he can. I'm all for it. So, Gouda Guy, thank you for that super chat, by the way, bro. Appreciate you. I don't know. That just I know I'm old school now. You know, I like to make the joke. I graduated college in 1993. I graduated 2 years before Windows 95 was invented. I'm old school, but you can't have old school without cool. And it pisses me off when you hear stuff like that in our city, and it's just a bunch of people whining, bitching, and moaning. Like, stop. You ain't got to like how he does it. That's not for you to like. The only thing you need to worry about is what happens when he steps in between those lines and walks into the link. That's the only thing you need to be worried about. He ain't hurting your kids. He ain't putting or taking money out of your pocket. Like, sometimes you got to let people do their thing how they want to do it. Now, if all of this stuff, even you go back last year reading the book and all of that type of stuff, if it was affecting what he was doing on the field, if it was causing us losses, if it was dividing the locker room like everybody wants to lead to, like, that would be a different conversation. But it's not. Nowhere close. And you talking to people living in a city that lived through T.O. If you young enough where you didn't see T.O. for yourself, it's easy to pull up receipts. They all over YouTube. So don't tell me a tweet annoys you. Ugh. For some people in the city that claim to hungry dogs run faster. No one likes us. We don't care. We from Philly, effing Philly. No one likes us. We don't. Singing all of them songs. Accepting that bravado. This is how we do it in Philly. It's wah-wah, son. We all about that genre. All of that. You can accept all of that. You can accept being an underdog. You can all of that talk, all of that bravado, and that's the stuff that gets you upset. That's the stuff that gets under your skin because you don't like the way AJ Brown tweets. And now, what's the new thing? And I knew it was going to happen. I purposefully, I was going to do a video on it, and I didn't because I wanted to wait and see. And damn it, I knew it. The first day, Monday morning, then you got people saying, hey, well, maybe the Eagles offense is better without AJ Brown. What? The offense was better last week. The only difference was this week, we had a running game. And the reason why we had a running game is because the offensive line was blocking a hell of a lot better than they did last week. That shows me right there that people don't watch tape. That shows me right there that people run with the headlines and the narratives and they ain't doing their homework. And that includes the people in Philly. That includes some of the people on WIP and 97.5. Y'all ain't doing the homework. You running with the titles. You running with the clickbait. You ain't doing your homework. You know good and daggone well that offensive line was hot garbage. That's why we can't run the ball. And against the Giants, that was the first game where we had decent run blocking against an opponent. You can go and look at the tapes. You can watch the broadcast view or get the NFL Pro and watch the all 22. I ain't lying. Film don't lie. But they want to kick that narrative out there. Was the offense better without AJ Brown? No, it wasn't. It was better because the offensive line finally got things together. We finally put Brett Toth in the situation where he could succeed because the damn show wasn't a left guard. Clearly, Brett Toth is a better center than he is guard. And we figured that out finally. So now we got a true backup to Cam Jurgens. Leave Landon Dickinson at left guard where he is. That's why we had a good running game. And not for nothing, if you saw my video when I broke down the film, guess what? Saquon Barkley did Saquon Barkley things. That was the same running play trying to run in between the tackles, which I hate because we run so much. And you know what Saquon did? He sucked everybody inside, then he bounced it outside. We scored a touchdown because Saquon found a different exit strategy. If he would have hit the hole where it was supposed to go, that maybe that would have been a 5-yard gain. Maybe. He got a chance to be a running back for the first time this year. Kevin Patullo, you got to give him credit because we ran a lot of plays from under center. It makes the defense, specifically the linebackers, have to react differently. When the quarterback is under center, the minute he reverses out and sticks that ball for the handoff, you heard me say this before. Linebackers, when they see ball, get ball. So it instinctually, if you are playing that position and you see that ball out, you have a instinctual thing to go pursue. You go after the ball and it gets you out of position. It sets up the blocks. And if you pull it and you go play action, what you've done is generated about 3 to 5 yards worth of space in the middle of the field. That was the benefit. That's why we started running the ball well. We pitched a bunch outside. With the exception of one play, look at what Tank Bigsby did. Every play, with the exception of one, he ran that one play up the middle and got like 9 or 10 yards. Every other play, he bounced outside. It was an off-guard play. Either the guard center gap or the guard tackle gap. But it was in between the tackles. And he bounced it outside almost every play. That 31-yarder, he bounced outside and got out of there. It wasn't hitting in between the tackles. So hopefully Kevin Patullo is going to continue to experiment with that and open up that part of the playbook under center. It works. Don't change it. Manipulate it. Alter it. But run it until they stop it. Let's see if they do that next game. We still coming up against the trade deadline. So we still want to know what Howie is going to do. Thank you. Thank you with the Ben Simmons. I didn't even want to bother looking up the name. I was like, I know who I'm talking about. They know who I'm talking about. It's got to be Ben Simmons. Is he still in Brooklyn? I don't even know. I don't even know. But this nonsense is crazy, and it upsets me. And the reason, like, I'm looking at this, and I don't know if you guys saw my video today. I put out a video. Y'all know I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. So I support all the Ohio teams. Cleveland as well. I say it all the time. I used to have a Brian Sight poster on my wall. Grew up in the jungle. Kenny Anderson, Chris Collinsworth, Ickey Woods. Lost 2 times in the Super Bowl to Joe Montana. Who they all day. I will go Birds, but I was born in the jungle. Right? Still love Cleveland Browns. Still love the Cavs. But I see what's going on with the Browns, and I'm like, man, listen. Philly, it can always be worse. So stop with the bitching and stop with the complaining. It could always be worse. If you see what's going on up in Cleveland, it ain't fair. It ain't right. And this man is most likely going to lose his job for this nonsense. And somebody brought this up. I saw this on another podcast, and I saw this in the chat. It wasn't even the topic of conversation. Somebody brought this up, and it piqued my curiosity. And I'm kind of going into this. I'm trying to do some homework on this because I want to do a video about this. I didn't realize Kevin Stefanski is the son of Ed Stefanski, who used to be the GM of the Sixers. The one that notoriously didn't really like Allen Iverson, didn't like the tattoos and the cornrows. And that's Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski is his son. So if Ed Stefanski didn't like the flair that Iverson brought, and let's not forget, Iverson changed the NBA. Iverson introduced the culture to the NBA, and they had no choice to accept it. Iverson was the one where all of a sudden, all of the NBA teams had dress codes. Iverson did that. Iverson was the reason for that. They didn't want to bring our culture to the NBA. They couldn't stop it. He took the fines, paid for the fines, and they couldn't stop it. And before you know it, all the kids were showing up with Iverson jerseys and cornrows. White kids and black kids. Don't get it twisted. And what they finally figured out was it didn't matter if he was black and white. They were still spending money. But I make that point because Ed Stefanski didn't want it. Now you got Kevin Stefanski with Shedeur Sanders, that same type of bravado, that same type of confidence. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And I'm looking at this situation. Everything that's going on with Shedeur, always a hot topic in these internet streets. Not too dissimilar to what we dealt with Jalen Hurts. They didn't. How many people didn't want Jalen Hurts because they didn't think? They followed the narratives. They followed the narratives. Once again, you can go on YouTube. You can pull receipts. How many people said he would never be a franchise quarterback? He'll never take a team to the championship. He's not that good. He's a running back under center. All of that type of stuff. Why? Do we really need to get into the isms and the ists? Y'all know what it is. Everybody's looking for the optics. They want that 6'4" golden arm. See over the 6'4", 5", Joe Flacco size. How many of those guys have never been to the Super Bowl? How many of those guys have never made it to the playoffs? So when you're looking at situations like that, and you see what Stefanski is doing, luckily we got an owner like Jeffrey Lurie that can see the forest for the trees. And let's not get it twisted. Jeffrey Lurie's taking his lumps, but he's learned from it. He got a checkered past where he listened to the wrong people, let Chip Kelly come in here and get rid of one of the baddest wide receivers we've ever seen in D-Jax, and Shady McCoy had one of the baddest running backs and got rid of that duo. Jeffrey Lurie has taken his lumps, but definitely is better on the other side of that. Same with Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman would not be as good as he is. He would not be the Wizard of Philadelphia if he had not taken his lumps with that whole Chip Kelly thing, moving to a different office, all of that kind of stuff. He stayed. He bided his time, and he just stood back in the weeds and let it play itself out. That's one of my favorite sayings. It's going to play itself out one way or the other. They talked all of that smack on Jalen Hurts. It's going to play itself out one way or the other. He'll never get you to a franchise. Got to the Super Bowl and now played Patrick Mahomes. And if it wasn't for a bad defensive holding call, we may have came out with a different outcome. Then they said he'll never go back. Then he went back and was the MVP. Then they said he was being carried. Then he was the MVP because Saquon Barkley couldn't run nowhere and he had to beat him with his legs and in the air. What next? Then you look up what's going on in Cleveland, and this dude Stefanski is going to live and die with Dylan Gabriel, a 5'9" quarterback that nobody had as a top prospect on their draft board. And they drafted him in the 3rd round. So now they stuck with him. And everybody and their mama in that locker room knows who's the better quarterback. So it comes down to, as a coach, your responsibility is to put the best product on the field that gives your team the best chance to win. That is the coach's job. And everybody knows what Dylan Gabriel is. I put in that video. Y'all saw what Myles Garrett did. 5 sacks in a game. Hall of Fame effort. You know he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But if wasted effort was a person, and Myles Garrett is slamming his helmet, and all I hear is, he took the money. This is what you get. Not so fast. Not so fast. Yeah, he took the money. That don't mean he don't want to win. If you go to your job and somebody gives you a nice raise on your job, but that raise is dependent on your performance, and they don't do anything to help you give a better performance, I'd have a problem with that too. Because I guarantee you there were probably some promises that the Cleveland Browns made to Myles Garrett to get him to sign that deal. And now it looks like they reneging. You traded away 2 veteran quarterbacks. And you sticking with the 5'9" dude. He ain't 5'10". That joker's 5'9". He the same. He probably smaller than Bryce Young. But hey, they want to do what they want to do. Shedor's not ready. And I always bring that stuff up. And I always comp it to what we deal with here in Philadelphia. Because at every turn, all Jalen does is win. Finds a way to win, throws it for a win, runs it for a win, hands it off for a win. Whatever you got to do, he's figured out that formula to get the ultimate ending. He doesn't care how he gets it. The problem is everybody else still does. Everybody else wants those optics. Everybody else, they're talking now, and I agree with Ray Dinger. Jalen Hurts is not going to have the gaudy numbers to be a true MVP candidate. He's not. He's got to throw for at least 4,000 yards, closer to 5,000 if there's really going to, or he's going to have to throw for a hell of a lot of touchdowns. But slowly but surely, he's letting people know that there's more than one way to win football games. You don't have to throw for 1,000 yards. Y'all know me. If y'all been rocking with me long enough, you already know what I'm going to say. The long ball is overrated. The long ball is way overrated. You need to throw the ball 10 to 20 yards down the field. That's it. Get the ball in the hands of your playmakers and let them make plays. We just so happen to have the best deep ball thrower in the league. Oh, yeah, the guy that didn't have a golden arm, the guy that's not that accurate, the guy, all of the other things that they said he couldn't do, but he's the best deep ball thrower in the league. Well, anybody can throw the deep ball. No, they can't. No, they can't. No, they cannot. We got the dude that figures it out. We got the dude that's not flashy. We got the dude that ain't gonna talk you to death. We got the dude that doesn't have an ego. We got every measurable you have for a quarterback that's been mentioned at some point in time in history about what you are looking for a franchise quarterback. Jalen Hurts checks all of those boxes. When you're talking about the intrinsic, the qualities, the leadership, all of that type of stuff, all of the stuff that really matters, he checks all of those boxes. All of them. and people still want to give him grief. Still want to give him grief. And now they trying to transfer it to some. It's like sometimes our folks here in Philadelphia, they looking for somebody to bitch about. They're looking for somebody to complain about. Oh, that drives me nuts. Like, what are you complaining about? What do you care? What do you care what he tweets about? Is it really bothering you that much? Like, really, does it? If everybody in the locker room, because I've seen it. I've seen a locker room where everybody don't necessarily like everybody. I've seen that before. So I know what the telltale signs are. I've seen locker rooms. I've been in locker rooms where people openly didn't like each other. I've seen fights in locker rooms. So at least I know what it looks like. And all of these people coming up, they got their sources, they got their reports, all of this kind of stuff. And I still say this even now. I couldn't tell you the last time I was in the pro locker room, being a part of a team. That went away for me in the late 90s. You know what I'm saying? But that experience doesn't leave you. So I know what it means to be a part of the team. And if you think for any reason, under any circumstances, a team would allow somebody in that locker room to be snitching, telling somebody, some reporter, information on the sly. If you think there's a snitch in the locker room, that is a problem. Because if the team ever found out who that person was, it would be hell to pay. So all of these people with these sources close to the information, sources close to the team, sources close to Philadelphia, sources close to Jeffrey Lurie, sources, nah. If y'all don't know it by now, there is no such thing as sources. The team leaks the information to Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, all these other people that breaking news, Mike Florio, all these people that got these shows that breaking news because you used to seeing their names. If the teams want the information out, they leak that information to those players. The source is, I am telling you to go tell Adam Schefter. I am telling you to go tell Ian Rappaport. That's your job. So if they hit up Adam Schefter on the burner phone and they can't trace the number, it's that simple. Everybody got a burner phone. I don't want you to know where this call is coming from. It ain't hard to do. That information is intentionally leaked. I said it when the whole Brandon Graham situation started. I got information. I had somebody tell me about Brandon Graham on Friday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. 5 days before he made the announcement. I had somebody tell me the Friday before this was going to happen. And my sources is somebody I could trust. But nobody puts information out there if you're just thinking about it. They don't do that. And guess what? He was right. He was right. I was mad at him. Like, yo, why you gonna call your boy who has a podcast about the Eagles? And then I can't say nothing. But I ain't gonna put it out there like that and throw him under the bus. Hell to the no. But my point is, the information can get out there. It's not hard to do. So all of these guys that they got sources and stuff like that, you got a controlled leak on a team. And it's not that many people that get that type of information. When you see Adam Schefter and all of these other ones, It's about 5 guys. You see this guy in the NBA now. What's his name? Shams. I forget what his last name is. Shams something. He's always got the breaking news for the NBA, right? So it's all of that stuff. And ain't nothing you can do. That's how they got it set up. That's how they got it set up to roll. So Good God says I'm preaching. Against all odds, they proved the naysayers wrong, by the way. The Brown situation is a case study for how ignorance leads to self-destruction. Jalen Hurts is MVP or character and winning. Absolutely, dude. For sure. For sure. But you know what I say? Everybody, not everybody. There are a lot of teams that wish they had Eagles problems. A lot of people. A lot of people wish they had our problem. And that's why I get so mad with the whole situation with AJ. Because people just bitching about it. Why would you why would that worry you? I guess that's my thing. And again, I'm old school, bro. We were built different. We had a different code back in the day. And I know it's different in these internet streets now, but still, man, you can't be in this day and age, you can't be thin-skinned. You can't. Because everybody's coming for you. Everybody got something to say. And most of the people that got something to say don't have no idea what they're talking about. A lot of people that think they do have no idea what they're talking about. That's why I'm such a big thing, a big stickler on like people that watch film. I don't subscribe to the fact that if you never played the game, you don't know what you're talking about. That is not true. Because to me, that is no different than I remember when Dan Orlovsky had some comments about Jalen Hurts and stuff like that. And the first thing people say is they want to compare his career and think that the success or lack thereof of his career has anything to do with his knowledge of the game. And that's totally incorrect. Because if that was the case, then people would tell me, I don't know what I'm talking about. I had a year in the preseason with the Eagles, 93, 94. I had a great rookie year, made the active roster. Second year, I got cut when they drafted Charlie Garner. Turns out that was the right decision. But you're not going to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. You're not going to tell me I don't understand some things that happen in the locker room, in the scheme, and things like that. I don't know everything, but I know a lot more than most people. I'll say that. Because I can still say I made it to the top 1% of my class. I can still say that. Now, a lot of other people made it too, and they stayed a little bit longer, but I still made it. So I still know what I'm talking about. And I like to think of myself as a student of the game. I watch a lot of film. I like to watch people that watch a lot of film. I like to see what Barrett and by the way, Barrett Brooks is going to be on with me and Tone tomorrow night at 7:30. Barrett Brooks is going to be on with me and Tone on Bald Eagles podcast. But I like to watch when Barrett is on NBC Philly because he watches film. Brian Baldinger was one of my teammates with the Eagles. I know he watches film. Brian was like that back then. He was just ahead of the game. Good guy, thank you for that super chat, bro. Appreciate you. Greg Cosell. I met Greg Cosell for the first time last year. The NFL alumni had a trip up to NFL Films, and I met Greg Cosell up there. I know that guy watches film. A lot of film. And I know he comes from a place where he ain't trying to shit on nobody. He ain't trying to hate on nobody. He don't come from that era. He comes from the era of, let me watch the tape and then I will tell you what I think. But it's based on what I saw on tape. It ain't a bias. It's not none of that. So even if he comes a couple times and it don't sound like he's in favor of Jalen Hurts, guess what? If that's what it shows in the tape don't lie. Big guy in the sky don't lie. So it's very important. I need to know that you watch tape. I need to know that you watch tape. Because anybody can shovel stats in front of your face. But if you don't have the context, I didn't like referencing back to the Cleveland Browns game. I know that Dylan Gabriel threw 2 touchdowns. What I didn't know, because I didn't watch the game, what I didn't know was that one of those touchdowns was garbage time. Like, maybe they had some second stringers in, that sort of thing, mop up duty. So he scored a garbage time touchdown. You don't see that in the stats. So you got to account for that because it means something different. Could Sunday be the beginning of Sonic and Knuckles? What you talking about, Saquon and Tank Bigsby? I'm assuming. I hope so. I said it when we signed Tank. I was like, he is a much better running back than he is a kick returner. And I'm glad that he got the opportunity. I don't know what happened with AJ Dillon. AJ Dillon didn't get a lot of work, but he had some good runs the times he was in the game. So I don't know what happened, but guess what? Tank Bigsby, he made an impression. He definitely made an impression. Coach, you still have Barrett Brooks? Yes, as far as I know, Barrett Brooks is still coming on tomorrow. I haven't heard anything different. So I will text him early tomorrow morning. Not early, but just to make sure everything is good. And as far as I know, last time I checked with him, it was a yes. So let me see. Yeah. As far as I know, he ain't said no yet. So as far as I know, yes, Barrett Brooks will be on with me and Tone tomorrow. I met Tone through Barrett Brooks. Because I used to talk with Barrett. We used to text each other all the time. And when Tone was still at Jacob Media, Barrett, Rob Ellis, D Gunn used to have a show together. Tone was the producer. Tone would be behind the scenes. He wasn't on camera. And I believe the first time I got on that show, that's where I met Tone. And, he hooked me up backstage and all of that type of stuff. And the first time I was on the show, that's when we kind of did our thing. But that's how I met Tone, and that's how that relationship started. So Barrett is always a friend. Barrett is just one of them dudes that's busy. Barrett, he's doing he's covering football, doing play-by-play. So he's always busy, man. So when I can get him on, and I told him, I was like, dude, we got to talk about this offensive line. He was like, for sure. I was like, why don't you come on with me and Tone? He was like, for sure. I'm going to try to get the band all together. I was going to try to do that in preseason. It just didn't work itself out because I'm going to figure out a way to get me, Tone, Barrett, D Gunn, and Rob Ellis all together. Or at least I'm going to try to get them all on the show for sure. Because we had fun doing that show. And that's what really kind of, gave me a boost and kind of let me know I could talk about things. Because to me, like, that was a real show. That was like a for real show. So, what's up, Mortis? Did you go to Mortis? Did you go to any games? Did you go to the game this weekend for homecoming? I know all the alumni was down there, so I kept seeing pictures on Instagram. Saw my frat brothers. One of my frat brothers was like, I guess he's in the like EKU Alumni Hall of Fame. So one of my frat brothers is one of the he's an OBGYN in Lexington. So yeah, I got my frat brothers all the way down there, man. So I know they was down there this past weekend though. Yeah, the football game, homecoming for football. That was last weekend. So I know it was crowded down there. I don't know if UK was having the same stuff too. So Rock, I'm an alpha, bro. A5A 1906. Spring 89, Rock Hard Row Ada, Eastern Kentucky University. And I am a number 4. Like I said, man, I'm old school, bro. Old school. I'm gonna when I put me another set together, when I do another background, I'm gonna do a background that resembles like what you see now, which is the ESPN set. That's what I'm about to do one day. I might have to like do a slideshow and go through my tour of NFL films and like the pictures I got. Cause some of those sets, man, when I design like my 3D stuff, I use those sets as reference images. Cause like that stuff in there, man, is like, oh, I could lose myself in that place, man. It's crazy. It's yeah, that's a listen, man. The NFL don't play, bro. That's the bottom line. The NFL don't play. If they name ain't on it, they don't want you using it. I've done the last video I did about the run game, about Saquon, Saquon against was it the Denver game? I broke down the film. I'm not letting the film just run. I'm stopping it. I'm drawing on it. I got a telestrator. I'm doing all of this type of stuff. They still flagged it. They still put a copyright on it. Copyright means you can't monetize it. So if I get 1 million views, I can't profit off of it. Because NFL put their stamp on it. It was like, nope, you can't use it. So I got to start going back to what I did with I used the Baldy and the Acho method. So what that is like you'll see Baldy do his Baldy's breakdowns. What he'll do is he'll videotape himself looking at television, looking at a viewer or a monitor. If you see what Acho does, Acho has got he's got his standing in front of his big screen and he's controlling it with his it's either an iPad or a Windows tablet, and he's controlling it from there. So he's filming himself watching another device. They can't copyright that. So that's like the loophole, but it looks kind of janky because I like to draw on mine and like I like to put like sometimes effects and highlighters and stuff like that. But like they don't play. They don't play. They do not want you using it like all 22. So it's hard to get good stuff, man. I see some of the guys that do it, and I'm like, how do you get that footage? How do you get that B-roll footage? That's the question. I was like, how are you getting it? Because they get like, I don't know if they're taking clips and blowing it up. I don't know what they're doing, but there's a couple of websites that they get really, really good B-roll footage, and I don't know how they do it. So I don't know. Mortis, I did see Louisville beat Miami. I was happy about that. EKU lost bad to Tarleton State on Saturday. Must have been. Yeah, it probably was, man. It ain't like back when I was there. Listen, I can't. He said I can't. You gonna protest me going on Jacob Media? I don't like nah, that was a while ago. You know, I'm like Tone. I ain't got nothing bad to say about that. I was only on there a couple times, a handful of times, and I was only on that show specifically with Barrett, Rob Ellis, and D Gun. So I didn't have my own show. Um, Tone could get into that conversation more than I can. So I was with a different company. So more than said, strap the ponies back on. Man, they couldn't. Come on, man. None of these colleges ain't going back to the I formation. They're not doing that no more, man. Them days is over with. Shoot, man. My red shirt freshman year was my career game. 37 carries, 300 yards versus Marshall. Who's gonna give a in today's college game? Who gonna get a ball to the running back 37 times? That ain't gonna happen, dude. That's not gonna happen. I'm sure it's there's been a few times, but not often. Not often. So um everybody's still talking about Jacob Media. Listen, I appreciate that, man. It was, that was a time, back when they was doing the right thing. So the answer to the thumbnail is no. I agree. I agree 100%, AJ. 100%, man. We are not better. I kind of got into that earlier. I don't know if you was here for it. Like, no, they're not better without AJ. Not in the least. And I knew somebody was going to try to bring that up, but that's a crock of crap. We are not a better offense without AJ Brown. Not at all. We just finally got some good run blocking. That's the difference. But everybody that wants to jump on this narrative about AJ, they want to conveniently forget that part. Well, that's on y'all. Yeah, I dealt with Xander before because he was producing the show I used to jump on. Um, so I still watch Johnny Mac a little bit. Um, if AJ was there, we dropped 45 to 50 Sunday, maybe. Maybe. But I'm like, dude, we nitpicking. We nitpicking. We put it on we put it on the Giants, man. But everybody wants to talk about the tush push fumble and the bad calls and all of that type of stuff. And it's like, man, just get over it. Now the tush push fumble was a fumble. They got that call wrong. I ain't got no problem saying that. They got that call wrong. But they also missed the holding call on Nakobe Dean when he would have got to Jackson Dart before he threw the ball to Scatterboo for that touchdown. They didn't call that. So they missed a lot of calls that would have, benefited both teams. And it was, the refs are just getting, the bad calls against the tush push is what's going to get it pushed out, not the play. And I still say this: if they ban the tush push, they can't ban the tush push. What they got to do is they got to put rules in place where it's not going to look the way it looks now. That's what they're going to have to do. Because how are you going to ban the play? Are you going to say you can't have that alignment? Are you like, what rules are they going to put in place to where you can't do that? You can't push anybody in the back. You can't push the ball carrier in the back if they're in the backfield or something like. It's going to be something like that. It's going to be rules put in place that will negate any effectiveness of that play. But not for nothing, shout out to the Vikings and shout out to the Cincinnati Bengals. Those are the only two teams that had any chance of stopping that play. The Vikings had that funky thing where they lined the nose guard parallel to the line of scrimmage. And then they kind of pushed. That was ingenious. It didn't work, but still. Somebody like put some thought into it. Other than that, Cincinnati's been the only team that really stopped us on the tush push, stopped us on the goal line. But sometimes I don't know what Nick is doing because every time we run that play, Jalen can't go forward. He needs to slide left. Period. Slide left. Slide left. Put an extra body out there on the left side because there's always a defensive end of somebody on the edge that jumps over the pile. Jumps over the pile to try to hit Jalen in the head. But because they leave their feet, they have no leverage. So they just surf the pile down over and get pushed back into the end zone or something like that. So we'll see what they're going to do, but they'll probably take it out. They'll probably vote on it and get rid of it because it's too hard to officiate. That's what they're saying now. They should just do sneaks. They should just line up an I formation and give it to Saquon. That's what they should do. Keep that fullback in there. Keep Latu or whoever and blast the edge and run it either up the guard's butt or off tackle. So I was like, who are you talking about? Who are y'all talking about? Somebody got pancreatic cancer. So you get those. I'm trying to go back. I missed that part of the chat. I'm not sure who y'all talking about. But in any case, you know what? I think the game is over. What time is it? 11:30. Let me see. It's funny. I open up YouTube now and everybody's talking about Kevin Stefanski. I gotta find some information on his dad. Because I remember that they did not like Iverson and what he was bringing to the league. And I never thought about that till the other day when somebody mentioned that. And I was like, wow. That's the same type of personality. Iverson and Shador. Kind of the same type of personality. And Ed Stefanski didn't like Iverson. And it looks like Kevin Stefanski damn sure doesn't like Shador. So interesting stuff. But I hope they trade him and he goes somewhere where he can have a chance to play because they bullshitting with him. GB versus Pitt game. Thoughts on Green Bay? Green Bay is okay. Just okay. Green Bay is just okay, in my opinion. Jordan Love is good, but he has his moments. He had a great second half. He was average at best in the first. That was more of an indictment that Pittsburgh couldn't do anything in the second half. So were y'all allowed to push the ball carrier for extra yards when you played? Absolutely, dude. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. How are they gonna regulate that? When you get past the line of scrimmage, you can't, it ends up being a tug of war with the ball carrier in the middle. How are they gonna legislate that? They got way too many rules as is that they can't even get right. And now it's to the point where normal stuff they screwing up. Normal stuff. You can't get a offsides right. A fumble, you can't get that right. Trap passes, incomplete passes, hit the ground. They still can't get that stuff right. It is so wildly inconsistent, it's not even funny. So I tell you what, though, with all of this pressure with the NBA investigation going on, NFL better get their shit together. That is for sure. Because if it even looks like these prop bets are getting jacked up because somebody's starting or whatever the situation is. NFL, they better clean it up. You better clean it up. Folks overanalyze AJ's social media messages and misconstrue what he's actually saying. You know what? I don't think they care. And I'm saying I don't think they care that they screwed it up. I think they care that they want to be able to comment on it, get clicks off of it, and that's it. That's it. You go all the way back to last year, that game against Carolina, when he said they got to work on the passing games, and they torched him, and he was 100% correct. He was 100% correct. The only thing that AJ has done that I didn't necessarily like was when he came at Seth Joyner, because Seth was like, "Listen, man, just stay off Twitter and just do what you do," and like he got mad at it. And he came back on Twitter and said something else. And Seth came on the radio and was like, "Listen, man, like, yeah, I'm an OG and we built different. So it ain't coming from a place of hate. We trying to tell you, to keep you on the up and up and the school the young fella." So I felt the same way when Slay got mad at Seth. It's like, hold on, man. You can't come for the OG. You can't be coming from a captain now. And the only thing he said, the situation with Slay was, that's back with that year when the Eagles defense couldn't tackle to save their life. They could not tackle at all. It was bad. It was horrible. Y'all remember that game where San Francisco came in here and just bullied us all up and down the field. Debo just ran all through us. We could not tackle him to save our lives. And that was one of the ugliest games I've ever seen at the Link. They belt the ass to us. So you got to have some toughness if you're going to come up in here, because you got to be able to tackle and all of that type of stuff. That's not a unreasonable request. So other than that, AJ Brown, you good with me, bro. Let me just say that. If somebody gonna send this video to AJ, go ahead and send it. AJ Brown, I'm an old head, bro, and we might throw some criticism your way, but it is always game related, and it ain't nothing but love, because we built different. I can like you and criticize your game at the same time, because I'm coming from a standpoint of I want to see you do better, and this is how I would like to see you do better. So it's never coming from a place of hate. It's always coming from love. So he said I'm pulling up old drama. So everybody, listen, Kitty, it ain't enough for AJ, because you know what? AJ gonna come back and have about 6 catches for, 97 yards and 2 touchdowns. So we need that type of performances, man. Let's keep it moving. Whatever you got to do to keep this train going, you keep that train going. Don't listen to the nonsense. So, Kitty, we will agree to disagree. Because and that's the thing. That's my point right there. If y'all think this is drama, did y'all see my video that I put out for what's her name? Rossini? That her name? Diana Rossini? When she said AJ Brown is agitated and miserable, I was like, agitated and miserable? Where are you getting these adjectives from? And then I posted some clips of what it really means to be agitated. Travis Kelce bumping Andy Reid on the sideline, I was agitated. Justin Jefferson throwing his helmet on the sideline and pissed off and cussing, that's agitated. What you call it? That the coach from Green Bay going off on that player because he thought it was what, field goal unit, and he ran on the field and they ended up getting a penalty. And he was just cussing him out on the sideline. I was like, that's agitated. What y'all getting from AJ Brown is nothing. Like, stop making it more than it is. Stop making it more than it is. If you don't like what he's tweeting, you do not have to partake in his posts. You don't have to watch it. Listen to it. Consume it. You don't have to. It is a choice. That's like somebody getting mad at you when you pull in the Wawa because you bought hash browns instead of buying a burrito. What difference does it make? That ain't got nothing to do with you. Everybody wants to have something to say so they can tell people they had something to say. That's where we are right now in this digital landscape. Most people are not trying to be right or wrong. They just want to say they had something to say. And it's irrelevant. AJ Brown is still one of the best dudes in that locker room. AJ Brown is still one of the best receivers in this league. And people in Philadelphia got the audacity to act like they want to get rid of him because the stuff that he's doing is so out of bounds. Like, are y'all kidding me? Like, y'all don't understand what kind of unicorn we got up in here. And because you don't like his tweets, you just ready to shove him on off to the next place. Hell to the no. Again, if that is what diva behavior is, if what AJ Brown is tweeting, if that's what is considered diva behavior now, I'll take it all day. He ain't disruptive in the locker room. He ain't disruptive on the field. He ain't throwing his helmet. He ain't cussing nobody out. He ain't saying nothing crazy to the media. None of that. All of this vitriol, all of this complaining, all comes from people didn't like what he tweeted. That's where it's all coming from. And because of that, I'm like, I can't do that. Nah, you got to give me a real good reason. You got to give me a real good reason. When I'm seeing all these other examples of bad behavior across the league, and don't nobody say nothing about all of that. And then y'all want to get mad at AJ Brown because he tweeted. Man, get up out of here with that. Miss me with that all day. All day. At the end of the day, what's the new phrase that they use now? What do they call it? Aura farming. That's what they call it. Aura farming. That's the new adjective for that. I guess that's the new way to say clickbait. You're aura farming. You're trying to basically, whatever you're talking about, you're trying to generate interest. And basically, it's a big popularity contest. Think about it. You put out a tweet, you put out a post. What's the first thing you look at? Well, how many people liked it? How many people shared it? How many people, did you click on the little heart? It's ego driven. It's ego driven. The person, it had to be somebody. Let me see. How old? Hold on. Let me suss this out. Elon Musk did Twitter, right? He created Twitter, right? How old is Elon Musk? Elon Musk, we the same age. I'm 55. Elon Musk is 54. I'm a year older. And I got about 483 billion less. But we the same age, Elon Musk, right? Now think about Twitter for a minute. Somebody liking your video. This goes back in the day. Back in the day, in the late 70s, in the mid to late 70s, in the early 80s. Valentine's Day would come around. All the kids had you made a Valentine's Day box and you put it on your desk. And then during the day, the people would put Valentines in the different boxes. And it was a big deal because you could tell who the most popular people in the class were because their boxes was always full. You knew all the girls like that guy. You knew all the guys like that girl because they got the most Valentines in their box. It's the same exact thing. It's an ego drive. You put stuff up there and you want to get vindication. You want to be validated, whatever it is you talk about. That's it. You just want the validation. This ain't no different on the radio. Think about what they talk about on the radio, right? The narration that we get, the narrative that we get from the radio, it only applies if you're talking about a subject and then the phone lines light up. So now you know that you got a whole bunch of people interested in this topic. That's the same concept. You're talking about something that touched the nerve. Now everybody wants to get in on the conversation just to say they had something to say. When I used to work for Apple, every now and then we would have a big meeting, and it would be one of those. It would be like on a Saturday or something before the store opened, and it was a big deal too. We'd have a lot of people in there. The doors would be closed. We would have people lined up outside of the store to watch what we were doing inside of the store. But we would have these meetings, and we'd be talking about things, and they would always leave it open so you could ask questions or make comments and stuff like that. And being a buddy of mine, we would have a counter. I would always lean over to him and I was like, let's see how many times we're gonna get a piggyback today. Somebody will say something, and then the next person that has something to say piggybacks off the previous speaker. They wouldn't offer anything new. No new information, no new context, nothing. They would literally say the same thing and maybe just change the words a little bit, but it would be the same stuff. And they would just say, well, just a piggyback. And it's like, you don't need a piggyback. Say something new. We heard what he said. And at one time, it got to the point where one of those meetings, it was like 8 times somebody wanted to piggyback off of somebody. That's all people do now. They just want to piggyback off what's the most popular thing to talk about. And how can I aura farm that? People just want something to say just to say they had something to say. Oh my God. But it's crazy. It's crazy. But we in a good spot, man. We got all of this stuff going on. People talking smack. It ain't nothing changed. But all I know is this: we are 6-2. We're going into the bye. We're gonna get some people healthy, and we're gonna come out and hopefully the run game can carry on like we did in New York. Like when we played New York. If we can keep that run game up, that changes a lot of things. Opens up a lot of things. So we'll see if we can keep that up. It wasn't Patullo. It wasn't Jalen Hurts. It wasn't A.J. Brown asking for the ball. It was the offensive line we couldn't block. We had pass plays where Jalen couldn't even get a play action fake off. He'd be trying to fake it to Saquon. Saquon is getting hit 2 yards in the backfield. Guys tackling him like he does have the ball. And then Jalen had to bail out. We missed a couple touchdowns because of that. Because the pressure came in through so fast because the offensive line wasn't doing a good job. Our tight ends wasn't blocking. And our blitz pickup was kind of suspect. It's always been the offensive line. Always. And against New York at home was the first time we had decent run blocking. And it made all the difference in the world. All the difference in the world. So hopefully we can keep that up and keep this train moving as we are now entering in the back half of the season. Now you jockeying for position. Now you got to keep those wins in the division so you can win your division and get that first round bye. Now that it really matters what you're going to do with it. Now what really matters is the offense in sync. Is everybody on the same page? Are we still running the ball well? Is all three phases, offense, defense, special teams, is everybody clicking? Now it really matters because now everybody's got film on us. Everybody knows our strengths and weaknesses. So there's no more secrets. Everybody got film on everybody. So now it is and always has been about execution. Always about execution. I don't care if Kevin Patullo calls the same plays 30 times in a row. If you executed the way it's supposed to be ran, it doesn't matter. They ain't going to stop it anyways. Can't do it. But you still got to run it the way it's supposed to be run, and you got to execute. Period. You notice that when we played the Broncos, we lost to the Giants, then we lost to the Broncos. When we played the Broncos, Jalen Hurts had what? Two balls that he overthrew, 3 balls he overthrew. He didn't overthrow those balls against New York, did he? That was the difference. If he completes one of those big plays against Denver, if he completes one of those big throws against New York, in New York, it's a different outcome. And I've said this before, we're probably about 5 or 6 passes from being undefeated. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, I know. But it's not a big swing. And now that we got, at least it seems, that we've gotten our run offense together. The offensive line looked a hell of a lot better against the Giants. Hopefully we can keep that going. So, Chris 3K, I ain't mad at you, bro. I get mad at the fan base too. They are smart. They just sometimes they don't know when to shut up. You know how some people be too smart for their own good? Sometimes. It is what it is. So, but in any case, all right, I'm gonna get up out of here. What was the final score? I was looking on ESPN and I forgot. What was the final score of the Washington game? Man, man, that damn Ohtani. 5-5, LA, top of the 10th. Let me see. I don't see the game. All right, come on, ESPN. Ooh, Lord, 28-7. That's a wrap. Patrick Mahomes, 25 for 34, 299, and 3 touchdowns. Pacheco, 12 carries, 58 yards. Travis Kelce, 6 catches, 99 yards, and a tutty. Yeah, they put it on them. And that puts us atop of the division, keeps us at the top. So, I don't think they're gonna get rid of him, man. It's just a lot of talk. Ain't nothing happening. If Howie does his due diligence and they talk to AJ and AJ says he wants to stay, he stays. So it is what it is. Don't fall into that trap. Don't believe the nonsense. Public enemy. Don't believe the hype, bro. Don't believe the hype. So, but all right, man, I'm gonna get up out of here. Don't forget tomorrow, 7:30. Me and Tone, Barrett Brooks is gonna be our guest, as far as I know. If something happens and Barrett can't show up, it's still gonna be me and Tone. We're gonna make it happen. So our midweek game. So make sure you join us for that. Appreciate y'all. I'm gonna go get some sleep. And I don't know. Maybe tomorrow I'll go get a pork belly and do some crispy pork. Yeah, sounds good. I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Tiffany, 24 Birds, Mortis, TDK, Alex, the Darth Panda. Who am I missing? AJ Jones, 8453. Man, you was coming with the fire today. Chris 3K, as usual. Ian Senior, I appreciate you. Everybody in the chat, man. This conversation was fire tonight, man. It was fire tonight, and I appreciate that. So Me and Tone gonna be doing the thing tomorrow, and then I will be back on Wednesday for late night with Coach. So Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Sometimes I do Friday, but it depends on what's going on. So I think one of these days in the near future, I am going to be on like some crazy time, like early in the morning, because I am determined. I got a nephew that's playing basketball in Mongolia, and they stream his games on like Facebook. So I want to stream one of his games, but it's like a 12-hour difference. So if he got a 7 o'clock game, it might be like 7 o'clock in the morning or something like that. I don't know. It's gonna be a weird time, but it was the same way when he was in Australia. Um, so we'll see. But I'm gonna get up out of here. Y'all have a great night. Have a good tomorrow, and I will talk to y'all then. And as usual, go Birds.
Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. From touchdowns on the grenade on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout.